The South African Human Rights Commission says it's reached a settlement with former DA MP Renaldo Gouws. In terms of this settlement, Gouws has released an apology to Black South Africans and to others around the world for pain and trauma caused by his comments. He concedes that they were unacceptable. Gouws is also expected to take part in 2 sessions consisting of workshops and public education awareness activities convened by the SAHRC. Back in 2024, a video of Gouws making racial slurs, which was first posted in 2010, resurfaced after he was appointed DA MP. Following public outrage, the DA instituted disciplinary processes, which later resulted in the termination of his party membership.
In March 2025, Mr. Gouws contacted the Commission requesting that the 2 parties explore mediation. The Commission welcomed Mr. Gouws' acknowledgement of the impact of his past conduct and reiterates that the right to freedom of expression must be exercised in a manner that respects equality and dignity for all people. As part of this settlement, Mr. Gouws will participate in 2 sessions convened by the SAHRC, which will consist of workshop, public education, and awareness-raising activities aligned with the SAHRC mandate, as well as attending a diversity sensitization session. The Commission remains committed to promoting equality, redress, and healing in line with its constitutional and legislative mandate.
Well, let's continue to unpack that story now. Joining us for discussion is Professor Tshepo Madlingozi. He's a commissioner at the SA Human Rights Commission. Prof, thanks very much indeed for your time. And I wonder, I mean, you obviously speak on behalf of the Human Rights Commission. Is this enough, this action by your organization?
Good afternoon, Michelle, and good afternoon to the viewers. What is important to note is that if we had gone to court, we would have obtained the same measures that we were able to agree upon, namely an unconditional apology, a community service, a sensitization program. So whatever we have achieved from a court process, we have achieved in a quicker way via a settlement. So for us, this is enough.
Yeah. I just wonder whether, you know, if I'm implicated in something like this, uttering racial slurs toward a particular group of people, whether it would feel like the easy way out to say a few words. I'm not saying that he wasn't sincere in his apology, but might it come across as an easy way out to say a few words, to admit wrongs in the way that I believe the country and the Commission wants me to admit wrongs, and then do a few sessions of community service or whatever else the sanction is?
Well, for us, what is important, Michelle, is not whether the apology is sincere or not. You can never see into the heart of a man. But what is important is that it should be a meaningful apology, an apology that is unconditional, number one, an apology that acknowledges the harm that was done without any equivocation. Number 3, that takes responsibility and that, you know, communicates that what was said was racist, was harmful, and then an undertaking never to do that again. As I said, in a court process, if we take you to court and the finding is that, you know, you have violated the Equality Act, the court will have ordered an apology, will have ordered, you know, community service and so forth. So that's what we have at the moment in terms of the law, that, you know, it's important that the harm is acknowledged, that an apology is unconditional, and that the person hopefully does not do it again. And how do we ensure that? We do that by making sure that they undertake sensitization training to understand the history of South Africa, to understand why redress measures are important, and to understand why some words cannot be uttered, whether it's in hyperbole, whether it's artistic, they can never be uttered and they will always be declared racist.
And your point about not knowing and not being able to see into the heart of another person is such an important one. And I wonder whether the Human Rights Commission believes that it's making progress in cases like this. You know, when it comes to public expressions of racial harm, whether there is accountability that is seen to be done, whether there is justice.
Yes, I mean, that is for South Africans to say. For us, what is important is that this exercise is a pedagogical exercise. It's a teachable moment, not just for the individual, but for the whole society. And what is that, those lessons? The first lesson is that, the use of the K word, calling people, black barbaric, calling Mr. Malema a black idiot. Those kind of words can never be said. Those phrases can never be said in any context that they are racist. And then number two, people must know that as the South African Human Rights Commission will always come after you if you do that. And you will make you, tender an unconditional public apology. You will have to go for citizenship training, and the record will remain, that you have acknowledged the harm that you have done and you have not done so. What is important for me as a commissioner for anti-racism is really to focus on not only interpersonal racism, but to focus on institutional and structural racism. And you will see that in the next couple of months, we've got a number of reports where we've held inquiries into institutional racism, into structural racism, because, in South Africa, we always get excited when we hear, the use of certain words. But what we don't focus on is institutional racism and structural racism.
Certainly. Professor Tshepo Madlingozi, let me thank you for your time this afternoon, a commissioner at the South African Human Rights Commission. This unconditional public apology is the settlement that's been reached in terms of Renaldo Gouws.